Welcome to D.A. Ex Machina. Together, we'll explore the writings of D.A. Roberts along with other authors, with a particular emphasis on the horror genre. We'll discuss writing, the inspiration behind horror stories, as well as the possibilities that monsters may not be safely locked away in the pages of fiction. We'll also explore cryptids of all varieties, along with sightings, encounters, and reports. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of D.A. Ex Machina. Joining me tonight is my co-host. She has formally accepted to be the Wednesday co-host, Neoma Finn of the Dixie Cryptid podcast, and now of the D.A. Ex Machina podcast. How are you doing?
Pretty good. How are you tonight?
Oh, live and kicking so far, but it's early.
Yeah, well, we'll make sure that doesn't last for long. We'll wear you out, put you in your grave.
This weather would do it. It was hotter than the devil's armpit here today, and just about as humid.
Yeah, definitely. I forgot to ask you, are we showing the comments again? Are they working?
I don't know if Josh got that fixed or not. Try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. So
Okay,
I'll just say hello to Meg and go from there.
If you can't read the entire comment, if you notice there's a faint line between the view screen and the comments, if you highlight that with your cursor and you get the little double-ended arrow, you can drag it over just a little bit so you can see the entire comment.
Yeah, this time it's actually moving both the comments and the screen. Huh. That's fun. Yeah, last time it just overlapped me and Steve.
You know, I honestly think it's this overlay that I'm using that's making the comments invisible. So before Saturday, I will try a completely different overlay and try some different things. Appreciate you guys joining us tonight. We've already got a pretty big crowd joining us, and that's always awesome. Got some familiar faces in the chat room tonight. Meg, thank you for joining us. Lanita, thank you for coming in. Werewolf 5674 is back. And who else we got here? Ronald. Hey, Ronald, thank you for joining us. Guys, I hope you guys are doing good tonight. You guys are ready for some interesting conversation about the Dogman. This isn't the show that I'm planning on doing where we talk about the individual types of Dogman. We're going to talk about Dogman encounters and why they're on the rise. And I have some interesting theories, and I'm sure Neoma's got some theories. And we may be joined by Nick Valente from the North American Dogman Project. He might be here shortly, and I'm sure he's got some interesting theories as well.
Meg says that on her view, we're not as clear as usual.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm blurry like Bigfoot.
Who knows? Yeah. Bob Roberts. And Linda Thomas wants to know if your books are going to be printed in hard copy.
They all should already be in hard copy. On Amazon, you should be able to select whether you're getting the paperback, the print edition. The Kindle edition, the paperback, or the audio edition. A few of them are out on audio, and we're working on more. But if you can't find them in print editions, let me know and I'll send you a link. Edward Carpenter's like the stream. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated.
So, we have some more hellos. Hi, Lanita. You already got her.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Nyoka. That's kind of a neat name. Nyoka?
That is a neat name.
Yeah. Sounds like my twin, Neoma and Nyoka. They could be twins.
There you go.
And Northwoods Cryptid says hello. And
there he is.
There he is. Hello. I've been trying to get on. I was having a little problem there.
Wow.
You might have to switch to headphones. We're getting some repeating feedback. Like an echo.
Uh-oh. Let's see.
Liz Gallagher shared our stream. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Everything else is off, so maybe I'm too loud.
Maybe.
How's that? Any better?
Let me see. I still hear it.
Oh, Lord. Let's see.
Meg says hello, Nick.
Hey, Meg.
Landon Forbes says hello. Wiz is back with us tonight. Yeah. Cheryl Jones says hello.
DA, how's that? Any better on the?
Yeah, a little bit.
But now I
Think I
can't
got
hear
it.
you. We lost you.
Now you
Nope,
can't
we're
hear me?
back.
Yeah, whenever we can hear you, we get an echo. Do
Oh Lord.
you have headphones?
No, I don't. Unfortunately, I'm connected in via my my cam. I'm trying to.
Do you have a secondary mic?
There's an echo cancellation here, but I don't think that'll be allowed. Stereo audio, what? Let's see. Stereo audio must be off. Okay, so I'll shut that off. Echo cancellation. And how's that one? That any better?
Hello? I think
Hello?
I got it.
That
Oh,
did
yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah. Now we're in
You're
business.
there. All right.
All right. I just had to click a few buttons here, I guess.
Well, we're still with the growing pains on melon, but it's getting better.
Oh, is that what this is? Okay.
Yeah, we changed streaming services to melon because it has some features that StreamYard doesn't have.
Mm-hmm.
Well, folks, for those of you who aren't familiar, Nick Valente is a regional director for the North American Dogman Project Region 3 and the International Division. So he's the guy I go to whenever I have a question about dogmen. Nick, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I started this about 22 years ago. By this, I mean cryptozoology. I got interested in the Yeti. Of course, I did stuff on Loch Ness Monster. Got into Bigfoot, which is also called Sasquatch, over the border into Canada. I've been to North, South, East, and West United States. I've been over the border to Chad Juarez in Mexico looking for Chupacabra. Washington State, Colorado, and California looking for Bigfoot. Into Canada. Been up there quite a few times to visit my cousin, who's married to a First Nations native of Canada, First Nations Indian. We've shared many of conversation late into the night and into the early morning over cups of coffee, because to be a real Black Rifle coffee freak. So anytime I want to get information out of him, I just bring up a couple pounds of Black Rifle coffee, and I'm going to tell you, this guy's got a tolerance for that stuff like I've never seen. Is over the course of like 3 hours, he goes through 2 pots full. And,
Sounds like my kind of guy.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, it's some good stuff though. It's a veteran-run outfit, and I'm going to tell you, I put that on par with, actually above, Dunkin' Donuts coffee around this area. I usually love Dunkin' Donuts Colombian, but Black Rifle's got them beat. But anyway, in the United States, I've asked about Wendigo, and oh, God forbid, I don't hear, I walk away from you. I've asked about skinwalkers. Once again, they don't want to hear it. Native Americans in the United States will not talk to me because I'm a white man, and it's no prejudice. It's just that they just don't do that. And also they feel it's superstitious. Well, they don't call it superstitious. They just plain out and out feel that if you talk about it, it'll happen.
You give it power.
Yeah, give power to the skinwalker, and he'll show up, and he'll give a lot of bad juju to their families and everything. So they don't want. But when you go over the border, it's funny. Just like they refer to our Bigfoot as Sasquatch, their people over there in the Algonquin Indian tribe, they'll open up to us. Well, certain people anyway, if they don't feel you're fooling around or messing around. And it kind of helps that my cousin, my blood cousin on my mother's side of the family, is actually married to the fellow, and they went to college together, and she subsequently moved to Canada, got married to him, and and he opens up to me, gives me a lot of information. I've never known about the Gugway. very violent Sasquatch.
Mm-hmm.
I've never known about the type of dogman that they have up there. I got a lot of information. I mean, that's part of it, which people don't understand. In the North American Dogman Project, we do two things. We do research and we do field investigation. That's boots on the ground, researching areas. But part of that is interviewing people, face-to-face interviewing people. And if I can't go face-to-face, I've done it many a times on the telephone for many hours at a string of time that people really don't understand unless you went through an encounter or something happened. People need to get it off their chest. They need to come to grips with things, and it affects a lot of people that they had an encounter. I did have an encounter myself, less than 30 feet away, and it really didn't affect me except piqued my interest in what this thing was at the time. And that's about, this September it'll be 8 years ago.
Yeah.
But most people, they just don't sleep at night anymore after they've had an encounter. And I mean, even just an encounter where this one lady and her two daughters were driving down a road in Wisconsin, and this cryptid, bipedal cryptid, walked across the road, stopped dead in the middle of the road. She jammed on her brakes so she wouldn't hit it, and it turned and looked at her. And she just felt its eyes piercing right through her. Her older daughter was in the front seat with her. The younger daughter was in the back. I believe the older daughter was 20. The younger daughter was 16. And the two in the front just looked at him, at his eyes. She said they glowed amber and they just looked like evil.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they said to me. Total evil.
I've heard that said a lot about Dogman.
Yeah, and it was like, so I mean, we went many an hour with me being on speakerphone on their end, because I was speaking to all three of them, and they were all affected by it. They asked me what they could do, in the future, and I told them about bear spray. All three of them got canisters of bear spray. They learned how to use it. All three of them carry salt. They carry holy water, and I think the mom's looking to get a carry permit. I mean, I don't know how it is up there in Wisconsin, but she's looking for getting, a carry permit and taking shooting lessons at the local police range, because they're offering lessons for civilians up there. So I just hope they have a good program.
I'm sure they do.
But I mean, for myself, it's been one heck of a trip. I'll tell you, one heck of a trip. A hobby and curiosity turned into practically full time. I mean, when I started this out with the North American Dogman Project about, 2 years and 8 months ago, I was getting maybe one call a week, if that. Then it went up to 3 to 4 calls a week on the phone and messages in my Facebook Messenger. Now it's 45 plus in Facebook Messenger, and people ask to call me and ask me if I'll call them. I try to help them out. I feel like I'm a counselor at this point, and I'm glad to help them out and come to grips with the situation. But it's like, it's terrifying. A lot of people look at us, the cryptozoology community, as you're a bunch of wackos. But I'm sorry, how is it that between the year 1995 and the year 2015, there was over 3,000 reports of Sasquatch and Dogman on the West Coast, on California coast alone. And at that same point in period of time, there were 650 people in Canada had reports of Dogman and Sasquatch. I mean, are all these people making it up? And I'm not talking about the rest of the world either, or the rest of the country. So something's going on out there. People don't want their 15 minutes of fame. They're reporting something, and these are just the people that are coming out to report it. And DA, as we've discussed on your show and other shows that we've been on together, a lot of people don't even come out and report anything of what they've seen. And I don't mean just of a Sasquatch or a Dogman, or you even call it Bigfoot if you wish. I mean, other things like the Rougarou, a Lizard Man, a Mothman. People just don't want to come out and report it because, well, I've seen it three major parts. One, they don't want to be ridiculed and be looked upon as a wacko in their community. Two, they don't want to lose their jobs because their bosses think they're wackos. And three, they might be up for a promotion on their job. And to talk about, a cryptid, they're not going to want to let them run that section of their company, because they're nuts, or at least the people feel they're nuts. But I'm sorry, once you've had an encounter, somebody that's had an encounter, and you listen to them and you can feel it from their heart. They're talking to you about it. And it's something you'll never forget. And like I said, we're not just keyboard warriors around here. I mean, in the NADP, we're out there. We do boots on the ground. Many of us are out there. We don't just go to some park where children are playing. We take videos and say, oh, here I am out in the wilderness. No, we actually go out there in the wilderness, miles or plus away from civilization and go searching for these things. A lot of the things, like I was saying, I'll talk to people on the phone, face to face. I'll take the reports and try to give them counseling if they need it and, assistance. But that's part of research.
Absolutely.
Not just getting it off the internet. I like to go to public libraries, small little bookstores, small little libraries in the different states, and go through their microfilm and microfiche and stuff like that to see what was reported. And I'll tell you some of the stuff that I got when I was in Texas. I went to this one small library, and they had old black and white photos from the 1800s, the early 1800s, in their newspapers, and they actually showed pictures of a thunderbird that somebody had shot and killed. I mean, this thing was gigantic. It was the width of a barn, and the barns in Texas aren't exactly small. Remember, everything in Texas is pretty damn big. So, I mean, that's what research is really about, not just sitting at your keyboard. So for anybody listening to us right now, please, if you're in another state, try to hit an old bookstore or a library and go through their stuff and ask for assistance in locating, any oddities, any weird type of sightings that people have had, because those are the things that you want to look for. I mean, look, people going way back into the 1800s reporting this. I mean, seriously, that's some interesting stuff. I just love reading stuff like that, and you do too. I know that.
Oh yeah, I love those old sighting reports. We get a little behind on our comments. Hola, everyone from Patty. Hi, Patty. Good evening from Greg Price. Hey, Greg, thanks for joining us. Bigfoot Anon says, what's up, everybody? What's up, man? Thank you for joining us. Werewolf 5674 says, I really feel like I need to talk to Native Americans or First Nations to get a handle on all of this. Never dismiss First Nations lore. It might seem odd to us, but there's always some grains of truth to it. The things that they accepted as a natural part of the world that we still haven't accepted may be more real than Western science wants to admit. Greg says, I lived out of town. If I lived out of town, I wouldn't sleep well unless my home was built like a fortress. I can understand that. Candy Wallace says, cheers, y'all. Patty Figueroa Noriega says, you're awesome, Nick. Wissa Khan says, I have a question. Has anyone ever seen a cryptid that looks like a bipedal sloth, slender in build with an underslung jaw and messed up looking, very sharp teeth, black hair covered? Yeah, there's a lot of like bipedal sloth legends coming out of South America. I don't remember what they call them. I'd have to dig into that a little more detail. But there is a bipedal sloth-like creature that was reported in South and even parts of Central America.
And they're not slow either, and they have nails. From what I'm trying to remember the name of it, they have claws that are like 3.5, 4 inches long. They're not slow. They're about 3.5 to 4 feet tall, and they look like our rake that we describe here as a rake, but our rake is kind of tall, much bigger than what they have down in South America. I'll look into that, and I'll get back to him on that if he wants to, send me a message or send you a message, DA. That would be great.
That would be good. Landon Forbes says, if only one person out of 1 million is telling the truth, then they exist. I agree, but I think there's a lot more than that are telling the truth.
Right.
I think there is a percentage of people that are just, spouting smoke, but, I'm not going to judge anybody based on their account. If they say it happened, I have no reason to claim otherwise without proof. So everybody's account's valid, until we have the definitive proof right in front of us that says this is what it is, this is how it functions, and then all the rest can get sorted out at that time. What's it says 67 foot tall. That sounds about right for the sloth creature that I remember reading about. I just don't remember what it's called. Awissa says, which type of Thunderbird was it? Because there are several. I don't know. I didn't know there were more than one kind. Meg says, I just read Mantis Man was viewed at the Musconetong River in New Jersey. What's Mantis Man? Oh, that's a new one for me.
A Mantis Man, yeah. That's something new that was reported in the last couple of months. They've had about 3 sightings that I personally know of. And I had one person send me a Facebook message. They didn't really elaborate on it, but yeah, down in the Pine Barrens, if that's the one that they're referring to. People
pretty
just understand down the Pine Barrens is a funny mix of things because at one point in time, the chemical companies, and this is going back into the 1910, 1920 eras and 1930s, chemical companies would dump out into the river and stream areas over there. So you never know what kind of a creature might possibly, emerge from there, drinking that type of water or being treated, by the chemicals. So, there's a lot of stuff besides the regular lore that we have coming out of there.
Yeah, it could be just about anything from pollution to I hate to say it, but possibly even aliens. I mean, we're seeing all kinds of declassified stuff on UFOs now, so God knows.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see, missed a couple here. What says, yep, one clause, this one was slow and taller, Washington State. Greg says, can't some sloths go bipedal anyway? I think so for short distances. I don't know a lot about sloths. And then Greg posted a link about the Mantis Man. Lindy says, DA, could you make out any of my pics? Fuzzy when I enlarged them. When I brought them up, they were very, very grainy. Of course, I don't have the best monitor in the world, but I could see some detail. Those are really good pics. Thank you for sending them to me. Meg says, no, this river is by my house in Hunterdon County.
Hunterdon County? Can she be more specific? A town? White House Station by any chance? Flemington?
It'll take her a minute to respond.
Okay.
Because of the delay. Cody says, can one of y'all list the 3 types of Bigfoot Sasquatch? Tune in Saturday night. We're going to go through that. That is going to be all that show is about. We're going to be talking about different types of Bigfoot, and there are more than 3. Let's see. Mantis Men are supposed to be an alien being that works with the Greys kidnapping. Well, that's interesting. That's good. That would be a topic of an entire show right there.
Oh, yeah.
Northwoods Cryptid says, DA, if you ever get to my area, I'd be happy to show you a few things along with some of the local encounter stories. Hey, man, I would love to. Shoot me a message at DA.Roberts at DARoberts.net. I mean, depending on where it's at, that might actually happen. I'm going to be going to a lot more places in the coming months to try to film. Meg says it's in Asbury, New Jersey. Cody Hamilton says, awesome, I'll be here. Yeah, the entire show Saturday night is going to be about the different types of Sasquatch. Matt Squatch Presents broke it down into 10 types, which I'm not disputing anything Matt Squatch has done. He's a heck of a researcher. I love his videos. But I kind of looked at it from a slightly different angle. So this is nothing but based on my research and my opinion and what I've talked about with both Neoma and with Steve, who will be here on Saturday night. But it's just I left out like the Puckwudgies and the little people and the mountain giants and devil monkeys because I don't really put them in with Sasquatch. I think they're more of a separate entity on their own. So what I did was I just isolated the types of pure Sasquatch that he had in his list, and then I added a few of my own. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a good show. So tune in Saturday night for all about Bigfoot, according to us. And again, we make no claims about being experts. Anybody in this field says they're an expert, then they're probably selling something. So there's no experts. Nobody knows for sure. So that's my spiel for that.
Richie Evans says, "Good night, all. Just had a long day, painful day, with lots of blood. LOL. 3 cuts. Just leave it at that. You get better, Richie."
Yeah, definitely. Take care of yourself. Get some rest. Hope you get feeling better.
Alyssa says that. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, hopefully, no stitches involved.
Yeah. Alyssa says the 3 types of thunderbirds my grandmother told me about were leather-winged in Montana, brown-feathered in California, and blue-gray feathered in the Great Lakes area.
That's interesting.
So, yeah.
I didn't know there were types of thunderbird.
No stitches, says Richie.
Awesome.
No, sir.
That's good. Well, get to feeling better, and hopefully you'll be with us Saturday night, and get some rest, and this will be here when you want to listen to it tomorrow. I mean, it'll be on YouTube. So hope you get some rest.
Yeah.
And hope you get to feeling better.
Greg Price says, big picture question. Given that so many cryptids, BF and Dogman, may possibly prove to be sentient, what effects would their confirmation have on society?
It would be a huge impact, which is probably why they've kept it secret as long as they have. Not only is it going to impact like the logging industry, it's going to impact
everything that the logging industry impacts.
Yeah, it's going to impact where we grow our food. It's going to it's going to be huge if they prove to be on the sentient scale. But having said that, most recently, the test that they used to determine aptitude in kindergartners was given to an octopus, and it passed it. So there may be more animals on this planet that have a degree of sentience that we've never really considered. So I would say
another thing that's going to affect, though, that you haven't mentioned is that, well, 2 things I want to throw out there. You're going to get those people that are going to want to get trophies. I mean, because they hunt elephant, lion, and the like. You're going to have people out there hunting Sasquatch and Dogman if they find out where they're living. Another thing that's going to affect at least the American population is people going out into the forest for hiking and for vacationing and camping and the like. I mean, that's going to cut down quite a bit. And you also could increase the tension, the likelihood of the increase in tension between cryptids and humans. And there are all kinds of possibilities out there. So, well, we'll see in the coming next few years. Something else is going to be coming out.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Smedley, you're right. Smart octopus. Thomas Whitty, you cracked me up, brother. So an octopus is smarter than me. Great. I know how you feel.
They're clever little boogers, I'm telling you.
Yes, they are.
Greg Price says that's economy. How would knowing we are not the only sentient species, I say sentient, but it's sentient species, have on us as human beings?
Yeah, for most people, it's probably not going to affect them all that much. They won't put any thought into it, nor will they care. We've known for a long time that whales and dolphins possess sentience. They possess language, which is right up there. And I think the fact that nobody really seems to take too much thought into consideration, and especially since like countries like Japan are still whaling. We know there are sentient species out there, yet we're still not doing a great deal to protect them. It's better than it used to be, but it's still nowhere near good. So if it turns out that many species of cryptids are sentient, and especially once they prove they can communicate even with us, there's going to be a lot of shakeups, and a lot of it's going to be political. I mean, a lot of it's going to be in every branch of our lives. It's going to shake a lot of things up. But ultimately, I think if they did admit it and brought it to light, it would affect things probably badly for a year or two until we adjusted, and then they would just be another fact of life.
Cody wants to know, and this is for all 3 of us, do you think the human population could handle coexisting with cryptid species?
Negative. In my opinion, no. I don't think they could handle it. Like I said, a lot of people would be terrified by it. A lot of people would want to hunt. It would just cause a lot of problems, I feel.
I agree. There'll be a lot of problems. I think some people could handle it. I just don't think everybody could. Um, Not only that, especially when if it proves true that some species of cryptids are confirmed man eaters, then people are going to demand that they be eradicated and crap like that. It's it's going to be a great big can of worms if it ever gets fully admitted. What do you think, Naoma?
I think Neanderthals extinct. I think that proves it. I think that's all the proof we need. And
Cody, there's a shot you and I might be related somewhere down the road. My maternal grandmother's maiden name was Hamilton, and her father was the sheriff of a little town in Colorado. There's a ghost town now called Dove Creek, Colorado. So I have Hamilton relatives down the line. Wisconsin says if cryptids were really violent, we'd be dead. We already live by them. I agree to an extent. I think some of them aren't violent, but I think some of them are.
And they are smart. They are
Very smart.
There is intelligence, and they do know that if there was an upswing in human beings being torn apart and found that way, that the human race, being the way they are, especially here in the United States for one, they would gather and they would hunt them down and kill them all. And they know they don't want a war like that. We do outnumber them. I mean, look how many billions of people we have on the face of this earth.
Mm-hmm.
DA, just real quick, can you grab your cell and check your signal message?
Sure. It's on the charger.
Uh-huh. Okay, what else do we have here? Are there any man-eaters called in the wild hunt? Gugway, that's one.
Definitely.
Cody's actually in Texas, DA.
I've got cousins in Texas. Again, on my mom's side. That's funny. Who knows? It's possible. What's this? Says the government already killed Bigfoot. I believe that. I believe that's happened for some time. Chris Miller says if they are man eaters, call them wild. That's hilarious. I believe that a team like that does really exist, and some of the contacts I have say I may be closer to right than I want to really know. That's why I created the book series. And I think there are violent ones out there. Not all of them. I mean, much like encounters with bears, you might have 99 encounters with a bear and it be completely peaceful. You look at the bear, it looks at you, and you guys, do the double take and head in opposite directions. It only takes that one time for a bear to be a man eater, though.
That's right. And just for everybody's knowledge, just from my own background and my own knowledge and what I have with the U.S. government, the knowledge that I have, if you do read D.A. Roberts' books, especially The Wild Hunt, you're going to find out that some way, somehow, he's very, very close to what they are actually doing out there. I personally don't know how he got the information myself either, but he's extremely close, especially on, what's my favorite thing that you have in The Wild Hunt? The mimic units?
The mimic units.
Unbelievable how he dreamt. He had a dream and just put this in his book somehow, some way. I guess we won't talk about that too much, though.
It was just one of those, I know we can do this, I bet we can do this moments.
It's amazing, though. So if you people really want an insight without having to, go through the redaction in the different government reports, definitely read all of DA's books. He's in there somehow. I think he's connected. He doesn't tell us all.
Well, thank you, Nick.
Don't thank me. We're just thanking you for your imagination and information. I had a question for Naomi. Are you still okay out there with the red pepper and stuff?
Yeah, I am.
Just checking it every month.
I was thinking about you the other day as I tend to go out to the mailbox at about dark. Too many neighbors, too many. And I was remembering about this time last year, I was talking on the phone with my husband. My mailbox is probably about 30 yards, maybe 40 yards out. My house is back towards the woods. And I was talking on the phone to my husband as I was walking out there, and something chuffed at me. I stopped in my tracks and walked backwards all the way to the house on my bad knee, which wasn't easy. But I had totally forgotten that because I convinced myself that I had imagined it by the time I got to the house. But I was thinking about it walking out there alone the other night, and I thought I should probably tell Nick about that.
You can message me or cell phone call me anytime you want. I really wish you could grab yourself some bear spray, have the safety off when you're going out there, or maybe have a 10 millimeter Glock or a 44 mag with you, something.
Yeah.
Because oh boy,
I know.
Not too good. Not too good having that happen.
Probably if I actually physically saw one, I'd get it through my thick skull that I have a problem. But at this point, I keep saying, oh, it's my imagination. This can't be. So, but I do carry a can of wasp spray around the yard with me.
That'll get something's attention.
Yeah, gives me an extra 20 feet.
Except this past, last summer, I had a wasp problem, and I bought the wasp spray. And they were like, here, shoot a little bit here, shoot a little bit there. It didn't do anything to them except let them down. I mean, they must have thought it was a slip and slide water park.
My dad used to just throw a cup of gasoline on them. They'd drop. Just.
Oh, wow.
I would have done that too if I would have thought about it. But I'm telling you, I went to Home Depot, 2 different types, nothing worked.
Yeah.
And boy, they like to bite right through my pants and everything. Yeah.
I once got stung in the ear by one, and I had cauliflower ear for a week. I looked like a boxer.
I was riding down I-44 one time heading for Rolla, Missouri, and I was riding my motorcycle, and I had just one of those little skull top helmets with the ear covers, and a hornet flew in and stuck in the padding right at the side of my head. That thing probably stung me 30 times by the time I got that bike stopped. I was all over the highway trying to get stopped. Whole side of my head was swollen up like I'd been beat up.
Oh my gosh.
It was terrible. That sucked.
Working out in the garden, I'm used to just having them buzzing around me, and I don't, but every now and then I'll forget and swat at one, and boy, I'll get stung, and I don't like that. So I carry the can of wasp spray around, and if I see a nest, I'll spray it.
Before going to LBL, and I sprayed DA with this stuff too. I picked up this very natural anti-tick, anti-mosquito bug spray, and I've been using it around here. And I have a forest area that I go in that has a lot of ticks. At least my neighbors tell me it has a lot of ticks because they take their dogs out there and they find at least 3 or 4. But I've sprayed myself down with this stuff, and nothing hit me. And when DA and I were out in LBL, I sprayed him and myself and everything, and nothing. I didn't get bit. So
right after I moved,
did get mobbed with bugs when we turned on our flashlights, though.
Oh yeah, they love the light.
I clicked on my headlamp light, and it was like.
Right after I moved to Tennessee. Right after I moved to Tennessee, I got Lyme disease.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, and I didn't even know that I'd been bit by a tick. I still don't know where I was bit. I never saw the target rash or anything. But I'm telling you, I don't go out in the yard unless my pants are tucked into my shoes and my hair's covered. I don't give them any opportunity to get on me and my neighbors have chickens, and I'm always like, yeah, let them come over in my yard because I never, ever want to go through that hell again.
Yeah, the last time I got bit by a tick, after 3 days of intense pain, the tick died.
Oh, well, you did good.
Yeah. Northwood Script DA, I just sent you an email with my info. It is not coming through. I don't know which email you sent it to. If it was the DA Roberts at daroberts.net, I want to check and see if you didn't accidentally put .com or something, because nothing's come through. Chris Miller says, me too. I assume that's related to that. What's it says, ever since the Natural Man Act of 1792-3, I would imagine that has to do with
up earlier, Wissa says something about the government's already killed.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's what that ties to.
Greg says, Timothy Treadwell learned about bears the hard way. Lenita says, I'm part Cherokee and believe they gravitate to me because because of that, plus my love. Um, yeah, I think the Native Americans have kind of an interesting relationship with the cryptids. Some report that it's that tribes of Bigfoot are just like other tribes that they had often traded with, and others tell stories of them coming into their camps at night and stealing people. So it's some of them refer to them as basically monsters, and others refer to them as just another tribe. So I think it depends on what part of the country you're in and which group you're dealing with, which type. Werewolf says, yep, and kill the bear. Cody says, you ever make it this way? We can sit down and compare thoughts. I would love to. That would be awesome. Coffee's on me. Or beer if you prefer. I know I would. Werewolf 5674 says, we have mimic units we deployed with trailers like medics that lock together. There you go. That's essentially a mimic unit. Greg says, now we have murder hornets.
Yeah.
Wissa says, recommended reading pocketbook published in the 70s titled Of Men and Apes. It's a history of our ancient interactions with various apes, including Rome's games and a Ludi school for Bigfoot. Interesting. Go check that out. Marshall Sirota says, my first live show. Love y'all. Awesome. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you guys being here. Wissa says, Pliny the Elder Natural Histories has a section on Libyan satyros, a black-haired Bigfoot. Well, that's kind of cool. Werewolf 5674 says Missouri is the tick capital. I think they are cryptid. Yeah, we have horrible ticks in Missouri. The house we used to live in out by Battlefield, Missouri, you couldn't walk to the mailbox without that coming back in the house with 60 of them damn things crawling on your legs. And chickens didn't slow them down. Nothing did. They are the worst.
Well, when they're bigger than chickens, it's hard for the chickens to eat them.
Yeah, they eat the chickens.
Yeah. Some of the ticks around here could suck a chicken dry in 30 seconds. You have nothing left but the poor little skeleton and a few feathers.
Chubaticra.
Yes.
Chupacabra is just a big tick.
Tickzilla.
Yeah, there we go. Well, we were originally discussing why we thought dogman attacks were on the rise. Naomi, you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I think that the Earth has gone to 8 billion people at this point. They're probably looking at us and say they need to go. I'm just saying, there comes a point where the other animals on the planet have got to say, what are you doing? Coyotes don't mate in years when there's going to be problems with the weather and things like that, or there have been, or the food source is low. And I'm sure the other animals are looking at us and saying, you're supposed to be smart. You can't figure this out?
You guys morons, just knock it off.
Yeah. Sleep in separate beds. Greg Price says, Chupacabra is the unholy offspring of a vampire and a werewolf. That was my ex-husband.
Now that's funny.
He was the unholy offspring of something.
Northwest Cryptid says, I sent it to DA Roberts at DARoberts.net. I don't know why it's not coming through then. That is odd. I'll check the spam folder and see if it automatically spammed it, because my email is stupid like that. Nick, what do you think we're running into more, and why there are more sightings?
Well, to piggyback onto Neoma's answer, with a lot of people in the world, I think it's because we're encroaching on their territory where they sleep. If there's caved areas or whatever, I think we're building closer and closer to these areas. We're taking down more forest areas and we're throwing up townhouses like crazy. Just over the border from where I live into Hunterdon County, they've just put up townhouses that'll, I guess, house approximately 1,500 families. I mean, that's a lot of places that they're building. And what they had, in order to do it, they had to knock down wooded areas. I mean, they had that project going for about 2 years. So whoever bought that land, they just wiped it all down. So I think we're encroaching on their territory little by little. And by also encroaching on their territory, not only are we taking away their area where they live, but we're pushing things that they eat, like deer, away from the areas. So now those areas have houses on them, and they're probably getting a little PO'd at this point, and we're going to see something come to a head. But like I predicted on another show, and I said within the next 3 years, the government's going to come out with something, and we'll learn much more about it then.
Marshall
I agree.
says, I thought Neoma didn't believe in Dogman. To clarify, Marshall, I am so afraid of Dogman, I can't wrap my mind around it. That doesn't mean I don't believe. It's just that it scares me so desperately that I have a hard time wrapping my mind around it.
I can imagine something 7 foot, 6 inches tall with 4-inch claws, 650 pounds of muscularity.
Honestly, Nick, if I'd have been as close to one as you were, I wouldn't be sitting here to tell the story. I would have died of a heart attack. That's how terrified I am of the concept of Dogman. Wow. It is, however, the cryptid that fascinates me the most. It's the one I read the most about.
I've always been fascinated more with Bigfoot, and I started really getting more into Dogman several years back, and started digging in everything I could find. And Dogman was one of those ones that it just seemed like half of the accounts where they were just basically described them as being pure evil. And until we had the incident we had with the Joe Bald Park, I kind of kept them at like arm's length, like, I'm never going to run into one of these. And then there I was,
you ran into one
30 yards from one. And it really shifted my perspective on them. Yeah.
Right. I mean, counting the eye shine, there was definitely more than one there.
Yeah.
And I have to say, like, with friends like Steve, who needs to have other cryptids around, my God.
Sweet pea.
Damn.
Greg Price, I agree. Dogman could be the origin of werewolf stories. I think that's where the werewolf stories come from.
I definitely agree. Northwoods, I got your email. My stupid email. Sent it to the spam folder, just like I thought. I hate this program. I really do.
Marshall says you barely kept them at arm's length.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
But it's probably a good thing we didn't see them at the time, because I know me and I'm an idiot. I probably would have tried to get closer to get a picture. So it's probably a good thing we didn't see them until we found them on the film later, until Thomas Whitney spotted them on the film. Yeah, I probably went like, hey, man, cover me while I try to get a little closer.
I wish you could have had a camera with a big flash. Can you imagine that picture? They would be all like, ah. And the next picture with the teeth coming out.
Yeah. Cody Hamilton says, DA, can I send you an email? You guys are all welcome to email me if you have a question or an encounter. That's why I keep giving out my email address, daroberts@daroberts.net. Feel free to email me if you've got an encounter, a question, an idea for the show. That's what the email's there for you guys to get a hold of me. So please feel free to contact me if you've got a question or something you want to talk about. That's what it's there for.
DA, did you want me to talk about the parks that I researched?
Absolutely. Yeah, I was still looking at the I suddenly looks like a bunch of the comments just disappeared.
Uh-oh.
What the heck just happened?
I don't know. I'm seeing them. Marshall says, LOL, knucklehead. Werewolf 5674 says, I have a German Shepherd. When she goes dark, she scares me. Papa Bear says, that is why I need to stay away from them. And I would have to get closer and try to pet one for sure. That's why Papa Bear definitely needs to stay away from them. Because Mama Bear will have a heart attack. So
my final words are, who's your good boy? Who's your good boy?
Those would be the final
words. Look, no hand left.
I got a stick going. Get stick, boy.
Yeah. Anyway, I did a little research on Montgomery Bell State Park here in Tennessee, and I wanted to share what I know about it, and then maybe we could talk about it. Montgomery Bell State Park is a 3,850-acre park with 3 lakes in Dixon County, Tennessee. It offers swimming, camping, canoeing, biking, hiking, and bird watching, among other amenities, including golf. It is well groomed, and it is beautiful. However, it does have a dark side. There's a place in Montgomery Bell called Werewolf Springs. The real name is Hall Springs.
I like it already.
Yeah. The real name is Hall Springs, but they call it Werewolf Springs. It's located in the southern section of the park along an 11-mile overnight hiking trail. It was named after the Hall family, whose homestead is located 150 yards from the spring between it and the Hall Cemetery. Funny how there's always a cemetery. The Halls were one of the many families who lived in the park's boundaries before it was designated a state park. Now here's the legend. And this is according to the Tennessean, as told by teacher Sam Brown and Dixon County resident Craig Anderson. And I can share the link with you to that article if you want. In the late 1860s, a circus train derailed in the area. All of the animals escaped, including 2 creatures known as the Wolfmen of Borneo. Now, I need to make sure you understand that these are not the wild men of Borneo associated with P.T. Barnum. They were mentally disabled brothers born with dwarfism in the 1850s. Their careers as sideshow performers are clearly traced throughout their lives, and their deaths were well documented along with their burial site. I cannot find anything to do with the Wolfmen of Borneo that does not go straight back to Montgomery Bell, so I don't know what they were. However, I can say that all of the animals were recovered except for those 2 creatures. It's said that they procreated and produced at least 1 offspring. Shortly after the train derailment, and by shortly I mean probably within the first couple of years, there was a local landowner and his hired hand, and they were traveling by wagon on a country road in the proximity of what is now Highway 47. They were headed from Burns, which is on the southern tip of Montgomery Bell State Park. It's sort of I guess you'd call it a suburb of Dixon. And they were headed to a homestead on the Harpeth River. I've lived in the Nashville area for 6 years now, and I can't tell you for sure, but I do believe that the Harpeth River runs on the western edge of Nashville, and maybe kind of winds up into Nashville a little bit in the Belle Meade area. But I honestly don't know, because I lived here, but I haven't really explored the area that much. When the 2 men got near Werewolf Springs, they realized they were being stalked by some unidentified creature. They sped up the wagon, but they could not shake their stalker. They became increasingly unnerved until finally, panicked and terror-stricken, they jumped from the wagon and ran off into the woods in opposite directions. The beast followed the hired man, who was never seen again. The landowner listened helplessly to the screams and cries for mercy of the hired hand as the beast apparently tore him to pieces. The hired hand's body was never found. Following that incident, a posse was formed to kill the monster. There was a clearing near the springs where some kind of predator was known to hunt. The posse took a goat there and staked it out in the clearing, and then they hid in the brush and waited and watched. Sometime during the night, a creature that they say in the article, a Sasquatch-type creature, but other descriptions lead me to believe it was more of a Dogman-type creature, eventually walked into the clearing and headed straight for the goat, at which point the men opened fire. My bad. As soon as they were done shooting, they lit their lanterns. They wanted to get a closer look at the dead beast. It was not there. It had vanished, along with the goat and 2 members of the posse.
It's entirely possible they just sucked at shooting in the dark, too.
Right. Yeah, I just hope that they hadn't formed a circle, because they would have been shooting at each other.
That posse reminds me of the guys from Blazing Saddles. Somebody go back to camp and get a whole shitload of dimes. that level.
Yeah. So shortly after this, a big game hunter took his shot at killing the beast. No pun intended. He got he got a cabin near the springs for 3 nights. The first 2 nights were completely uneventful. He didn't see, he didn't hear anything. But the third night quickly became a fight for his life. It started with screaming and howling in the woods. He kept looking out the window trying to spot something, and finally he did see the beast moving on the edge of the woods near the cabin, and he took a shot at it. This only served to infuriate the beast. Enraged, it attacked the cabin and tore the door off its hinges. By the time it got the door off its hinges, though, the hunter had gotten up into the rafters and spent the next several hours firing down on it as it reached up and tried to swipe and claw at him, but he was out of reach. And he got down to the last 2 bullets when the sun came up, and that triggered the beast to flee into the woods. Sam Brown, the teacher who was telling the story, was also a 23-year employee of the park, and he found a cabin near the springs, dilapidated and now completely collapsed, with only the outhouse remains, but he believes that was the cabin the hunter used.
If it had been me, technically, I'd have been down to my last 1 shot. Because if I had 2 shots remaining and that last shot didn't do the trick, the last one's for me.
Exactly. Other stories.
I don't get it.
Other stories include a little girl who vanished drawing water from the springs and whose body was never found. And others over the years, as recently as I was listening to Cryptid Studies Institute YouTube video on it. They actually heard screams and howls in the area.
Nice.
And people have vanished from that area. The hiking trail, the 11-mile hiking trail, runs in front of the Hall Cemetery and loops around the spring. The spring itself flows into Lake Woodhaven. And the creature is rumored to live in a cave in Creech Hollow. The Creech Hollow caves are located at the bottom of Creech Hollow Lake. And these lakes are the 3 lakes that I said are located in the park, or 2 of the 3. In one of the caves there, it is reported that the bones of many animals, including humans, have been found. But I have to note that pre-park residents often use that area as a dumping ground for animals. Like if they had a horse or something, they would drag it out there. So I don't know that you could totally blame the creature for that, or creatures, because obviously there's more than one. The man after whom the park was named, Montgomery Bell, was rumored to have been the landowner who jumped off his wagon and who lost his hired hand. However, we know that's not possible because, 1, the story originates with the train derailment. 2, that rail line was not extended that far until the Civil War, when it was done so for military purposes. And 3, he died in 1855. If you should decide to visit the springs inside the park, be aware that people often report hearing eerie, unexplainable sounds, and some people have gone missing. And I should also note that Montgomery Bell State Park is considered one of the most haunted parks in the U.S. So that's the background I know on the park.
That's freaking awesome. Since I'm not big on running, I'm not going to outrun anybody. If I end up going to that lake, my strategy is going to be sheer volume of ammo that I take with me.
It's a beautiful park there. I sent you some pictures of it, and it is gorgeous there.
I can put some of those up.
Okay.
Let me pull those up.
Greg, those bouncing squares are part of the what do you want to say, the overlay?
Yeah, they're just part of the overlay. Hopefully they won't be here next time, because I'm going to try a different overlay, because I think that's why we're having trouble with the chat. I'm going to share the screen, and I will just let you talk about these pictures, because you know the story behind them.
Okay. Look at me. I joined. Okay, that's actually the picture for the next part, the white buff. So that's Creech Hollow. That's the trail that leads there. As you can see, the trails are really well maintained there. It's easy to get in and out of the park. And that's one of the lesser maintained trails. There are really wide trails in the
Nice.
park. Yeah. That's the cemetery at the park that I was talking about. And that is right there. That's Werewolf Springs.
That's it? That's Werewolf Springs?
That's Hall Spring is what they call it. It's in the fall, so it's a little leaf cluttered, but
I
yeah.
expected something bigger.
Yeah, it's not very big, and it's just kind of trickles off over to Woodhaven Lake.
Well, I will tell you, and all that mud there, it would be really good for finding tracks. So if I got there and I found some really big dog-like tracks, I'd be like, wonder what that could be.
Yeah.
I have got to add a casting kit to my gear in my van. Oh, that's not it. And then the only other one you sent me was that one.
Yeah, okay. That's a vintage photo from White Bluff, Tennessee. And that's a small town located just east of Montgomery Bell State Park, which is it's actually kind of northeast of Burns, which is where the last story took place. Today's population is about 2,000 people. It's your typical small town. Everybody knows everybody's business. But they have their own legend. And unlike at LBL, the people there are not even a little bit shy about talking about it. They all have their own.
Really?
That's very different from LBL.
Yeah.
Wow.
They all have their own take. Some people will tell you it's a ghost or a demon. Some people will tell you it's a banshee, and some people will say it's a cryptid. But this is the big story that absolutely terrifies me. Back in the 1920s, there was a family of 9. It was a father and a mother and their 7 children. They came to that area, and there was a natural, peaceful little hollow or holler bordered by the beautiful Tennessee woods there, and they built themselves a nice little home. They were newcomers looking for a new beginning, and they felt that was their safe haven. Their euphoria didn't last for long, though. Soon their nights were filled with horrible screaming that shattered the quiet of the surrounding woods. Their children were frightened beyond belief, and the parents weren't exactly feeling it either. After suffering through too many nights of this horrible agony, the father couldn't take it anymore. In his frustration, he took his gun and went into the woods searching for the source of the screams. Deeper and deeper he went into the sound as the sound grew louder and clearer. It wasn't one scream, it was a chorus of them. Sudden realization overtook him, and he broke for home. But it was too late. His worst nightmare had come true. His family was dead, torn to pieces by body parts strewn everywhere. Now, to further that story, some say that he saw very large footprints around the house and in the house. And he did actually eventually go out into the woods to hunt down this creature that had killed his family. But nobody knows if he ever found it because they never found him after that.
Huh.
Now, this all stems from, there's a legend that a lot of the people in White Bluff like to tell of an older couple that had an only child with a physical deformity, and they kept her hidden in the cellar. When she got old enough and strong enough, she overpowered them and killed them and escaped into the wilderness, where they say she haunts the woods, screaming at and terrifying hunters and hikers who had the misfortune of hearing her awful cries. Now, the Southern Haunts podcast on the subject, and I can provide you the link for that, tells the story as though it was the girl who lured the man into the woods so she could kill his family. Others claim the howler is a banshee bent on murder and destruction for anyone who crosses her path. But those who've seen it claim it is an unknown cryptid. Some believe it is the same creature that escaped the train wreck and that now roams the area around Werewolf Springs. Dogman and Bigfoot researchers believe it is one or the other of those. It is described as being a white quadruped with a face somewhat like a camel's. It is known to make a sound like a screaming Sasquatch. And if you go to the Cryptid Studies Institute story on the White Bluff Screamer or Howler Screamer, they actually will play the recording for you to hear what it sounds like, and it does sound very much like a Bigfoot.
I will have to listen to that later tonight.
Yeah. As for the Banshee theory, I disagree. It doesn't match up with any known legends on Irish or Scottish lore concerning banshees. They are harbingers, not murderers. The only time a banshee is known to kill is when she's disturbed while combing her hair, at which point she will throw her comb into the heart of the unlucky soul who came across her. In some stories, they're reported even to be protectors of lone travelers to ensure safe journeys. I have no answer for the story of the girl in the cellar. That's just a really creepy story. But I do believe, my theory is I agree that it's a cryptid. I think it very well could be a white dogman. I looked it up, and yes, there are white dogmen out there. I think that would account for the muzzle in lieu of a face.
Mm-hmm.
And for those who dismiss the Bigfoot argument based on the fact that it's a quadruped, my guess is they're not aware that Bigfoot moved just as easily on all fours as they do on 2 feet.
Same with Dogman. Dogmen have been seen on all fours, moving very fast, and then when they get close, they get up on 2 legs.
Yes. And these are known areas for Dogman sightings. So
I'm hooked. I want to go.
okay, well, come on down. I'll go with you.
Okay.
That's only about half an hour from my house. Well, about an hour.
If I make the drive, I expect fried chicken.
You'll get it.
I've heard so much about your fried chicken. There's got to be some fried chicken involved.
I wish my mom was still alive. She made the best.
Cody Hamilton, I got your email. I'll send you one back here shortly, probably after the show, because it's kind of hard to type and talk. I'm not a multitasker. I will screw multiple things up at the same time.
I also want to say that if you go straight north from, a little, I guess might be a little bit northeast from Montgomery Bell, you will end up in the LBL.
Wow, that's pretty close then.
Mm-hmm.
Nick and I know firsthand what LBL is like. We spent days driving the north end and going and checking out places in the north end of LBL.
And nighttime. Remember the nighttime.
Yeah,
I know, that's the part that just blows my mind. You didn't just go to the LBL. You went out there exploring at night.
Yes,
now,
we did.
When you go back.
I mean, seriously, why not? We're out there saying, come on, bring it.
Yeah. Okay.
We were at the cemetery where we heard something moving in the woods behind me.
I saw that.
Both day and night.
To be clear, I would like to join you when you go back this fall. I don't know, Nick, if you're coming, but if you do, I'm sitting between you guys in the front seat, okay? I'm not sitting by a window by myself. Or I'll put your wives on each side of me. I don't care, but I'm taking the middle seat.
Well, we went up in my Hummer, my H3 Hummer, and I do have it armored up, and it's 6,000 pounds of metal over there. And I'll tell you, we were walking around, we're looking around here and there. We really wanted to find something, but we were ready for it. One of the first things I handed DA was a large canister of bear spray. And because I don't want to have to deny anything, I won't say that we had any other offensive things with us, but I did bring my electronic flashbangs. I did have black salt, white salt, holy water. I did have other various implements to defend myself, and so did DA.
Oh yeah, I brought a lot of stuff from Scallywag Tactical.
I want that knife that's got 3 blades.
I purchased something that was in one of DA's books, and
ooh, nice.
Neoma, you mean this one?
Good enough for the Roman legions. It's good enough for me.
Good enough for you? Yeah.
Well, that's going to come back with me next time.
You guys understand that you're my weapons, right? I will count on you for a lot.
Now, when we go back next time, we'll have quite a few more people on security. This time around, the COVID really messed up my team, so I did decide to go there anyway to do a little bit of advanced recon, and DA so graciously accepted the invitation. He came up with me, and it was great. I mean, it was really good.
I took a lot of good footage too.
Naomi, have you ever been in there in that section?
I only live about 45 minutes, but I haven't been to the north end. I've never been any farther. You know where the bridges cut across the middle?
Right.
Mhm.
I've never been farther north than that.
So you've been really in the south end, middle to south end.
Mhm.
Something about the north end. I think it's more Dogman in the north end. I think the south end is more Sasquatch and other cryptids. But I don't know, DA, if you'll bear me out on this. I just felt a heaviness
Mhm.
as soon as we crossed over into the park. Just a heaviness. And as soon as we got out, it was all gone. You know,
And driving down those side roads into the woods, it's like driving through a tunnel. I mean, the canopy of trees is so much over the road. It's thick.
even during the daytime, as you said, the canopy, that's the only way you can really express it. It just makes everything dark.
A drone would be useless there unless you go in the wintertime.
I know a lot of people said, "Oh, why didn't you bring a drone in there?" It's like, you want me to lose it? I mean, because
Or you could get some really good footage of leaves.
yeah.
The occasional squirrel sunbathing on top of a tree.
No, not a
Oh
single
no, not
animal.
there. That's right, not there.
No, nothing except bugs.
Yeah, plenty of bugs.
I didn't even see a snake when we were in the daytime. I was looking on the ground for snakes, and once again, I sprayed all of us, and we're walking around there, and I'll keep the bugs and stuff away. But I was looking for any kind of a snake. No snakes either. No squirrels. No snakes. No bunny rabbits. No raccoons. Except the only thing we saw was the big hairy thing that DA saw as we were during the daytime. We're driving, and I backed up, and it was gone. But
Yeah, I saw a figure, a dark figure, off the road about 20 yards, standing behind, like leaning out from a tree. And as soon as I jerked my head that direction, I could see it pivot and just take off. And I yelled at him to stop. And by the time he got stopped and we got backed up, it was gone. I mean, we found where the leaves had been disturbed, where it took off, and then it dropped down into a ravine that was probably 30 feet deep and went deeper as it went away from us. There was no way we were catching it in that ravine. It was just gone. I'm like, want to go in the ravine? He's like, hell no, I don't want to go in the ravine.
There's no way to track it because the ravine went down at a severe angle. And
we'd have needed ropes to get down.
Yeah, and the layer of, I did have some in the back, but by the time we got that all hooked up and
it would have been a mile away.
Waiting for us, it's like, hi there. But the thickness of the leaves, I could see it was. You don't got guys with leaf blowers and rakes over there fixing things up.
Something big moved a lot of leaves.
Yeah,
and it wasn't like it scattered them out. It was like where feet had hit and scuffed out patches of leaves.
That's about it.
Wow.
That's all we found. I didn't get anything on camera because I had my phone up and I was like trying to film the front, and I just happened to look to the side as I caught something out of the corner of my eye. And when I looked directly at it, I could see it spin and gone, just that quick. I only got maybe 2 seconds on it.
I was thinking if we bring Neoma, I don't know, can you do a good Scarlett O'Hare routine? We could tie you to a tree and we could be around you and wait for whatever.
I'm sure I could do whatever you think would be necessary, Nick.
That's funny.
I could do Dudley do. Help me!
Peripheral vision. I saw that errant finger there. Last time I tell you how to use good ideas for naught.
I'll tell you what, I'll be the bait if you can promise me that I won't be eaten. I don't care. You can dangle me from 50 feet in the air and let him. Yeah.
But just think of it. We get great footage.
Yeah, great footage. That's like the two
science.
Yeah, the two photographers out in the woods taking the picture of the grizzly bear, and suddenly it starts running at them, and they're taking pictures, and it's getting closer and closer, and finally one of them says to the other, "What are we going to do when that thing gets here?" And the other one says, "I don't know, but one of us is going to get one hell of a photograph."
Hey, that's something I meant to tell you. I was going to message you about it. You will never, probably, as long as you're living there, come across a Dogman because that's Sasquatch territory, and they don't play well together.
I got to stand up, guys.
You okay?
Leg cramp.
Oh. Well, we've got a little bit behind on comments. Northwood Scripted says there's been a couple of lower budget Dogman movies filmed not too far from me. If it was the movie Dogman 1 and 2, those are on Prime Video. I watched those. I wouldn't exactly call them good. When I saw that the big name actor in it was the guy that played Andy, and according to Jim, I knew it wasn't going to be a high quality movie. But I watched both of them anyway, and they were worth watching. They were worth watching once.
You got to turn down the sound and write your own script. They're hilarious that way.
They were pretty hilarious, just normal.
By themselves.
Yeah, is that the one with the British soldiers?
No. That's that one's called. God dang it! I can't think of what that movie's called. Dog Soldiers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a fantastic movie.
Oh, those two they actually made a second one too.
I think they're still making it. I haven't seen any release information on Dog Soldiers 2, but I really want to see it.
That was good for fun and gore and all that stuff.
Yeah, it was. Wissaconsin says that recording can be compared to Bigfoot Screams. Thinker Thunker's channel have analyzed their calls. Yeah, Thinker Thunker does a lot of good stuff. Him and MK Davis both.
Yeah.
Wissaconsin, Bigfoot has a specific vocalization range. They discovered that a lot of the Bigfoot calls on the Sierra sounds were both above and below the range for human vocalizations, pretty much proving that those weren't humans. Werewolf 5674 says, I'll do much for good fried chicken. Oasis is around 35,000 cycles, if I remember correctly. Meg says, Neoma, you're braver than I am. Werewolf 5674 says, I want a gunner's mate. Damn good knife. If you want, go to the YouTube channel for Scallywag Tactical. They have a demo that they do with the gunner's mate where they have a side of beef and it slices through the ribs, not just the meat, the bone. That's a good knife when it'll slice bone.
Yeah, I think I'll take that to the LVL with me.
Well, I just happen to have one.
Good. Bring it with.
Can we see it?
Yeah. Let me grab it. It's got the boarding axe was on it.
Oh, nice. Yep. Gonna take that with me.
Because of that slight curve there. It gives it a lot more power when you slice with it. It's a nice knife. Great
price
infrasound could be.
Yeah,
could very well be. I firmly believe they're capable of it. Do you have a thermal? No, I do not. It's something I'm hoping to be able to get in the near future. John Todd says, good evening, everyone. I just love your books, Mr. Roberts. Thank you. That's awesome. I appreciate that very much. Hope you've enjoyed all of them. Hope you've read all of them. If not, I would love to hear what you think. Meg Mill says, sweet blade. Yes. Scallywag Tactical is my favorite knife company. I mean, there's a lot of good blades out there, but I, for my money, I'll buy a Scallywag Tactical simply because they're just such good blades. High quality. I mean, you can't really tear one up. They did a destruction video on one where they drove it through concrete blocks and it didn't break. Bill says, can we get it etched so it works on Wendigo? If I can find someone to put the etching on it, you betcha.
I don't know if I mentioned this to you, DA. I know I did, that my husband's looking at a new camera. And it's a really nice one. It's not infrared, but it is a really nice camera. And all I have to do is bring back a live Dogman, and he'll let me take it with me to the LBL.
Well,
I'm on top of it.
We'll see what we can do.
He said I have to bring back living proof, and then I can use it. So, fingers crossed.
Yeah, well, we'll see what we can do. No promises. Werewolf 5678. Pumi want white. Me want knife. Yeah. Scallywag was having a sale on a lot of their clothing items and a lot of their blades. And if you watch their website, they have every once in a while will have a scratch and dent sale kind of thing with something that might have a damaged box or a scratch on the blade, and they sell them at a huge discount. Dennis Candler says, DA, if you want thermal, you better get it soon. I'm seeing that optics, the parts needed for them are in short supply. That's what I've been hearing. Yeah, I've been looking into getting something with night vision capability, and we may have to upgrade that as soon as I can.
Not to interrupt, but Nick, what were you saying, that I'll never see a Dogman here?
Yes. As long as you have Sasquatch in your area, they're not going to be around there at all. They know to stay in their section, just like in LBL. They're in the northern section, and in the middle section is the middle ground, the green zone, and in the southern section is mainly Sasquatch of LBL. But you're not going to see anything there, absolutely not. Not until you come to LBL North, with us, and
and you tie me to a tree, and
I'm out of coffee. But to quote Foghorn Leghorn, fortunately, I brought a spare for just such emergencies.
Well,
now the thing I want to talk to people out there about equipment-wise is definitely you want to take thermal when you're out looking for cryptids, because they can see the infrared type of night vision. So you do not want that out there. You do not want the ones that shoots out infrared.
And look up.
Yeah, definitely. People don't know that. Look up.
Look up.
In all parts of your life. I tell that to people when I teach classes. I tell people that throughout the entire class. Look up, because people don't usually look up. Classes that I teach also involve, personal defense. And in this day and age, you never know. You could have a sniper on a roof. You could have somebody in a tree. Definitely look up so you can be able to, react appropriately.
You should be a bobblehead.
Head on a swivel. Head on a swivel.
Absolutely. Keep it moving. Meg asks, DA, does Scallywag make pocket knives? Yes, they do. They only have a couple right now, but they're supposed to be having another one coming out sometime this fall. But they do have pocket knives. Just go to the knife section and kind of scroll through it. You may have to hunt for it, but they do have a couple. Northwoods Cryptid says, if I could afford it, I'd get some weapons from Gil Hibben. I actually met Gil once. Hell of a nice guy. He used to have a workshop down in Springdale, Arkansas. And me and a buddy of mine drove down there to look at the blades and ended up buying a few. And just got to talking to this guy that was in there, and I'm like, how do you know so much about these knives? He's like, yeah, because I made them. I'm like, oh crap, you're killing him. Yeah, he was super nice guy.
Mr. Redford, how do you know so much about Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid? I was in it.
Yeah, he was just in coveralls. I mean, I thought he was some mechanic or something. There's somebody in there looking at knives. He wipes his hand on his coveralls and goes, yeah, it's because I made them, and stuck his hand in. I'm like, oh crap.
Oh shoot, that's too funny. Werewolf 5674 says they might have a cave city underground. Not anymore. DA took care of that.
Yeah. Read the Nightmare Hunter. One step ahead of you there, buddy. But that theory holds a lot of water. They talk about how there's such huge unexplored caves underneath parts of the United States, like the Mammoth Caves that run from the Appalachians all the way deep into Tennessee.
Oh yeah.
These caves extend hundreds of miles, and we've only just scratched the surface of exploring them.
Yeah.
They very well could be using those as a super highway to get for hundreds of miles. And knowing those caves better than we do, they could pop up anywhere, or they might have entire communities down there. We just don't know. But I would be willing to bet that the deeper we get into them caves, the more we're going to find out.
Yeah,
absolutely.
A couple of people on here said they can't find the folding knives, but right now Scallywag Tactical is having a sale on the Privateer folding knife.
The Privateers are badass. I want. It's one of the ones I don't have.
Well, the one I really like though here that. They got a Blackwater folder.
That one's nice too.
God, that's on sale. I mean,
they don't make a bad knife. They make amazing blades.
It's amazing. You wouldn't believe what this thing looks like. It's beautiful. But that's all I see really is two folders.
They're supposed to be debuting another one this fall.
Oh, Do you have the Guardians?
No, I don't have a Guardian. Hang on, which one's the Guardian?
That's the one with the ring on the end.
Oh, yeah, I got that one.
You have that.
Nice.
There he is.
The Guardian's the one they drove through concrete blocks, and it didn't break.
That's the one you're holding up there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
What's the ring on the end?
The ring on the end is designed so you can let it dangle while you're shooting, while you're still using the weapon, and then you can just bring it right back up. Or there's also certain fighting techniques where you can hook it through like your thumb and use it in different attack methods. Mike Donavito. Don Vito does some of the combat videos, and he shows the combatives with it. Really great videos. Well, check out Scallywag's page on YouTube. They've got some awesome videos, and he shows some of the strike techniques with this. And the dude knows his crap. He is a blade expert. Definitely watch those and watch what it does to a side of beef. Holy crap! This knife is deadly in the right hands.
Marshall says, "Night all. Thanks for the frivolity."
Well, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Northwoods Cryptid says, "I'm glad I didn't know that years ago when I went to Mammoth Caves." I feel the same way. When I went there, I'm glad I didn't know what I know now.
Yeah, there's a big section of cryptozoology that believes either Dogman or Bigfoot or possibly both use that cave system.
And even down where I am, which is, down in Tennessee, it seems like every sighting, every location where they're hot, there's a cave system.
Mm-hmm.
So
there's caves or water or both.
And often a cemetery nearby.
Which is why we went to the Nickel Cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
Fun little place.
It's a neat little cemetery. It's well maintained, despite the fact that that end of the park's pretty much empty. But while I was there shooting during the day, when I was there by myself, there was something moving in the woods behind me, and you can hear it on the video. And then I shut the video down and went looking in there. I'm like, "Hey, who's back here?" I went walking back in there. I never could find anybody.
Come here, boy.
I mentioned and note for everybody out there is, like, while we were there for a couple of days, whether it be nighttime or daytime, I didn't see one park employee. Did not
Except
see
at the visitor center. That was the only one.
Nobody.
They ain't stupid.
Nobody there.
They know. And they're not dumb.
They say no firearms at LBL, but there wasn't a damn soul there to tell us otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying they were sitting outside the park pointing and laughing at you guys.
Yeah.
They had a book on you to see how long it'd take for you to disappear.
Naomi, there was no cell service while I was in there.
Yeah, mine was dead as a hammer. I could record video, but I couldn't even text.
So DA came up with the idea. I'm going to steal it from him now, and he came up with the idea of a different way of contact with the outside world. So the next time we go back, I think that's what I will have anyway.
Yeah, I'm planning on getting one as well.
If you break down in there, forget about it. You can't call any.
Yeah, you better hope to God somebody drives by.
Yeah, and there was not that many people driving by either, and there's not that many people out there. And if you go camping in the woods and something happens, I mean, say you sprain your leg and, you're not going to get out. You really do need to have something. I know it's expensive, but you got to get something. I think SOS makes something to contact out there for what was it, about $199? You can at least text message a local police and have them come and get you.
Well, that's when I found that cell phone signal booster. It attaches in your vehicle and draws power from the vehicle, and you register it with your cell phone provider, and it just acts as a booster. It's supposed to give you up to an extra 200 miles.
I wonder if it would work in there.
I don't know, because it was weird. As soon as you crossed the bridge into LBL, my phone died. I had no signal, couldn't do nothing but record with my phone. Crossed the bridge right back over into Grand Rivers and worked fine.
Your tree canopy, or
maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, they had some good cell phone service in a lot of places down in the Amazon, for crying out loud, of all places. And they've got a heavy canopy over there. At least they were able to reach out. Where we were, there was nothing over there. It was like
they probably had satellite phones.
Yeah, it could have been. But I know the next time I go back there, I want to have something a lot better this time around.
At least
Just in
some means
case.
of communication.
Yeah, you have to have something. And I'm going to try to test it out ahead of time.
Werewolf
Including on the way
5674 says Kentucky has all those old coal tunnels. That's true. Northwood Cryptid says there are no caves here that I know of, but there's a stream, river, or lake less than a mile from anywhere in the area. Yeah, that good water supply and food supply, and you've got perfect habitat. Meg Mill says, what night is Nightmare Hunter airing? Usually on Mondays, but I'll have to get back to you on that. I'll have to check on that. Dennis Chandler says, how about a spot for help? I think he means an LBL. Yeah, there was just a visitor center in the entire North End, and there was only one employee there.
Yeah, but when we went to the visitor center at nighttime, that place was shut down.
Yeah, there was nothing there.
I mean,
it's like they rolled up the sidewalks at sunset.
Yeah, I would figure they'd have a ranger there or somebody, but like there was nobody there.
Meg says, I believe in spiritual strongholds, maybe an LBL. That's possible. I mean, I wouldn't rule anything out. LBL is just a really odd place. It's really hard to describe it unless you've been there, especially at night. It's just a really weird place. I had a weird feeling the whole time I was there. And that was probably made even worse by the fact that we never saw any animals. I mean, outside the park, along the highway, you would see, dead roadkill. You'd see, raccoons and occasional turtle hit. You'd see dead animals out on the interstate before we even got to Grand Rivers. I'd even see deer dead on the highway. Inside LBL, nothing. No roadkill, nothing moving, no living animals that I saw on the entire north end of LBL. And it kind of freaked me out.
What LBL North reminded me of when we went in, I mean, the feeling, because I've went to the house that they filmed The Exorcist in, and it gave me the same feeling as when they were in that house, what the entity said. Going into there, I kept getting the feeling, get out, get out. They didn't want us in there. It just felt like that. And it was so heavy. Everything just felt so heavy. And I don't mean the atmosphere and, the oppressive weather either. It was just, everything just felt heavy over there. And then it went away miraculously when we left.
So you crossed the canal back into Grand Rivers.
Yeah, explain that. I mean, I've been in places like, crazy places where there's supposedly cryptids right around the corner, and I didn't have any kind of feeling like this. It was like weird. Can't wait to go back.
Yeah. As a side note, I'd like to say that if I ever walked into an empty house and something said get out, I'd listen.
Say why?
I wouldn't stand around to find out who said it or why they were telling me. I'd just be gone.
Why do you want me out?
That's the difference between you and me, Nick. I would ask, but I'd be standing outside when I did it.
Oh, calling in? Oh, why?
Yeah. Now that I'm here,
don't think we can't get you out there, Neoma.
I'll go poking in the woods, messing with cryptids, but I don't mess with no ghosts.
Yeah. That's Bear from the Outlaws.
Oh, Bigfoot Outlaws.
Yeah, he's like, I don't have a problem with any cryptid on Earth, but don't talk to me about ghosts. Yeah, I am done right there.
Yeah. It's like beautiful house, lovely yard. Kids are playing in the yard. Get out. Too bad I can't stay.
Yeah.
That was pretty good, D.A. That's a good.
And we're leaving.
You have to go in with the right equipment, So you do that.
Well-armed army.
I don't mean firearms either. For ghosts, it's a whole different thing.
Well, that's true.
I started with the paranormal and, got through a good 15 years of doing that. So that was fun.
Yeah, I'd probably have to take my Bible with me. That'd be my best weapon there.
Shotgun loaded with rock salt.
With holy water.
Rock salt and little pieces of sage so it catches fire as you blast it in the air. I'm going to bless the hell out of this house.
Neoma would go in there with her sage and the ghost would take it and start smoking.
Yeah, that'd be my luck. I'd be like, let me roll that for you, buddy. You didn't do that very well. I'll roll you a blunt.
Yeah, I'm not going to mess with a ghost. Piss it off. What are you going to do? Werewolf
Oh,
5674 says you can get sat beacons that have text. I'm going to try this that cellular signal booster for the vehicle, and if that doesn't do the trick, then we're going to look at something like maybe a sat phone, because I have a lot of plans for going to some pretty remote locations, so I'm going to need coverage. Alyssa says, "Oh, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead."
Alyssa, she said, Neoma, the oofs that you hear, are they in the same place or along a line? And at night mostly. It was only the one time I was walking out to my mailbox. My property is such that the front third is wooded, but not heavily, and the back third is very heavily wooded. And in the middle is my house and what little yard I have. I had crossed into the tree range of the front yard, and I just heard something chuff at me. It just kind of, I can't even do it. That sounded like a cough, but it was very odd. I had never heard anything like that before. I was on the phone with my husband and I stopped dead in my tracks and I said, backing up to the house now, we don't have mail. And I just literally walked backwards all the way to the house. And I never saw anything. I've never heard anything since. It was just the one time. And that was at dusk.
So, now we'll put your hand down for a second. There you go, Josh.
Oh, no, that's an awful picture.
I just got a message. Tell her to put her hand down for a second.
No, you'd better get a better picture than that.
Well, then give him a smile or something.
No, I look awful when I smile.
Here's
a good one. Here's a good picture right here.
Too late. They already got it.
Oh, I don't like you, Josh and Adam. You guys are not nice.
Just to cover for you, Neoma. DA, there's the Spot X with Bluetooth, and then there's the Garmin InReach Mini Orange. It's a mini satellite phone. I mean, I think
maybe worth getting one of those.
I'm definitely going to check them out. I want to research them and see what's what, because I really don't want to get caught in there.
And some of the contacts you have, talk to some of the guys that have been in deep dark country and see if how effective it was off the beaten path, like really far off the beaten path.
I wonder if an old-fashioned walkie-talkie system would work, because I'd be happy to stand just outside the park with a walkie-talkie and talk to you guys.
Some of those walkie-talkies have pretty good range.
Basically, what the guys
that 5674 says, is the white ash a real thing? Yes, that is actually one of the things I read that works on certain types of creatures, specifically the Wendigo. But the white ash is a real thing. It does work on the Dogman as well. It's I want to be able to describe it better. White ash is a type of tree, and the ash trees are considered holy. And it has to be prepared under prescribed methods, and I don't know how. I'm not privy to that kind of information, but I do know the white ash does work.
Richie says, "Ghost, I would say by the blood of Jesus Christ, you must leap." But that's me, Richie. I would agree. I would claim the blood of Christ.
I'd claim the exit, or make one.
Yeah.
Alyssa says, "Cough. Wow, you were about 10 feet away from a mama Bigfoot and a newborn, less than a week old."
Yeah, that's the news I wanted to hear.
You startled her.
Yeah, I think actually it's a male that slaps my house, though. I think and I do get that. I haven't gotten it for a while, but I was getting it pretty regularly, twice a week. Nice, my husband was gone.
Maybe the in Bigfoot language is the equivalent of Johnny Bravo. Hey, pretty mama. Do the monkey with me.
Yeah, I should have winked back. Hey, baby.
You want go prom?
Me go prom with you.
That's the Sasquatch Barry White routine. Come on, pick your mail again. Let's see you do it.
Don't kill me.
You dance, I go.
Hey, DA, I'm going to check the Spot X with Bluetooth, and
Okay.
if it pans out, if we can both get one, we can try to communicate using them from Missouri to New Jersey. And heck, if that works, it's pretty nice, pretty nice, and it's affordable. So this is good.
All right.
But as much as I love going into these places, after seeing, I mean, places I've been at haven't had a canopy like LBL.
Yeah,
And
it's really thick.
I mean, you just don't want to get injured or anything like that out there and not be able to get somebody to come and get you.
Well, speaking of getting injured, that's a heck of a segue. We're an hour and 40 minutes in. That reminds me, I have not plugged Dark Angel Medical yet tonight. If you are going to go in a place like LBL or go to a shooting range or do anything anymore these days effectively, but if you're going to plan on going out into the woods looking for cryptids, take a med kit. Please take a med kit. The med kit is just as important as any other piece of equipment you carry because the life you save could very well be your own. Med kits are absolutely a necessity, and Dark Angel Medical is a veteran-owned company, and they have med kits, everything all the way from just your basic first aid kit, which they call the ouch pouch, to everyday carry kits, to full-blown trauma kits and vehicle kits. So whatever your need is for Dark Angel, whatever your need for a medical kit is, check out Dark Angel Medical. And now you can hear it straight from Carrie Pocket Doc Davis, who has shown up in the books.
Hey everybody, this is Carrie Pocket Doc Davis from Dark Angel Medical, and you are listening to DA Ex Machina with DA Roberts. You may recognize me or some of my products from Dark Angel Medical in some of the Apex Predator, Lakeview Man, and Wild Hunt books, and you can get those products at www.darkangelmedical.com, along with training classes on how to use those products and save a life. Shoot us an email at info@darkangelmedical.com and be the difference.
And here's one of their kits. This is I have this one. This is a dark kit, just like the red one that was shown on screen, and I have one just like this in black that I carried on my duty belt for years as a cop. Best kits in the business. It's called the Kit for Life Guarantee. If you use the kit to save a life, record the incident and get a hold of Dark Angel, and they will restock the kit for free.
And I could totally verify, Neoma, that DA had one when we were there in LBL.
Yes, I did. Had that one.
Yeah, and that gentleman there that you guys saw on the video, he was an Air Force pararescue guy. And I mean, those guys are professionals. They're on, they're tier 1 people. So, I mean, this kit is excellent.
Werewolf 5674 says, you don't want to date a Bigfoot. Everything is big. You know what they say? Big feet, big hands.
Yeah. Big feet, big shoes.
They're waiting for you to go out there and check your mail a little bit later, Neoma. And
yeah.
looking for a new wife.
Yeah, the mail's just going to wait. There's nothing that important that I need tonight.
Not a damn thing.
Package on the ground, and when you go to reach it, the string you'll be going after it.
If Bigfoot wants my Amazon package, he's welcome to it. I'll just tell Amazon I never got it, and they'll send me another one.
This could be a good segue into one of your books. Neoma gets captured by going get her mail, and
I told I told DA once that if a middle-aged fat woman with the personality of a drunken slut with no filters happens to show up in one of his books, she'd better die gloriously. That's all I'm saying. She'd better have a glorious death.
She'll die a Klingon warrior.
She will die going to her mailbox.
Don't worry,
In the pink bunny slippers.
Neoma, we'll write into the book somehow. The NADP security team, we came after you.
Okay.
We found you slathered in barbecue sauce. And we rescued you in time.
Still clinging to my mail.
Don't lose my bills.
Yeah, I can see that. Where are we? Neoma, when you spent the night in your car. Oh, I just lost it. Somebody asked me something about when I spent the night in my car.
Jonathan Miller says, DA, are you coming to Elkhorn in October for BrayCon? I would love to. I don't have it. I need to look that up. It depends on some things that I've got going on right now that I can't really talk about. We'll see how things go. I may have commitments in October that I will not miss for the world. So we'll have to see. We'll play it by ear. But I would very much like to. I definitely want to come up to Elkhorn and go to Bray Road. And BrayCon sounds like a hoot and a half. I'd bring a bunch of books and T-shirts up there and hang out.
I'll come with you.
Heck yeah, you're welcome. My van holds 7 people.
I'd like to have a new Ford Bronco by then.
Nice.
Yeah, that's my dream car right now.
Dennis Chandler says Air Force PJs are top notch. Yes, they are.
That's a fact.
They are.
Northwoods Cryptid says, I guess I'm stupid. The fact I never married my ex is proof. The only encounter I personally have had with anything, God dang, that just jumped on me. My mind doesn't really register, and I kept walking toward it. That sounds like something I would do. I'd be like, what the hell is that? All right, let's go get a look. That's probably going to be my mother, when I was a small child, used to say that I would blunder in where angels feared to tread. And that has proven to be indicative of my entire life. When I was on the riot team, I never wanted to be the second guy through the door. I wanted to be the first guy. That's just, the second's no fun.
My mama said I was an angel. She called me Lucifer.
The fallen one.
Lucy for short?
Lucy for short. Papa Bear says if you put barbecue sauce on her, she just might eat herself. And that's true, because I've always said, if you put barbecue sauce on worms, I'd eat them. I love barbecue food. My son can't stand them. That's Papa Bear. He can't stand barbecue sauce, but I love it.
Barbecue.
Neoma, have you ever tried the Jimmy Bean barbecue sauce?
Mm-mm.
Oh my God, the Jim Bean barbecue, it's outrageous.
Oh, yes, I have.
Oh my God, I think there's pineapple in it and other things that just...
That sounds good.
I made some breaded chicken this past Tuesday and just slathered it all over the place. It was just great. Absolutely fantastic on anything. But you can't find it where I am, so when I do find it at the Walmart, I buy everything they got. You see the guy over there in the carriage, I got like 13, 14 bottles of this.
Man, that guy really likes barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
I actually make my own.
It's great. And it actually
Make
does
your own sauce? Ooh, we might have to talk and compare recipes. I like to make my own sauce too.
Yeah.
But speaking of barbecue, if I get either of you in my neck of the woods from Apex Predator Blood Moon, the second in the Apex Predator series in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, has a place called the Rockin' Pig Saloon.
Oh,
and they make amazing barbecue. I've got a T-shirt from there. They use Wagyu beef. Holy moly! Oh my
Any
God.
excuse to go to Eureka Springs is good with me.
Neoma. He does it every time. He talks about food, and I'm dying over here. I don't understand. It's 11:48 where I am, and I'm starving now. And I'm reading his books, and he's talking about all this one place with the baseball-sized meatballs and barbecue, and they're bringing it up to their mountainside, camp area, bags of it. I'm like, where am I going to get this? Where?
The restaurants I mentioned in the books are really there, except Steve's Pub and Grub. I made that one up. But if the books ever take off, Steve and I are going to open it.
Well, from what I understand, you can get Steve's wife to make the shepherd's pie for you, though.
Oh, and it is fantastic. She makes a hell of a shepherd's pie.
Yeah.
Yeah, she makes a wonderful shepherd's pie.
Somebody was asking earlier, it's up here. In all seriousness, who was organizing? And it jumped on me. Jonathan Miller. In all seriousness, who is organizing the next DM convention? NADP? Said that wrong.
Oh, that could be fun.
That could be real fun.
I'll have to talk to Jody Cook about that. Our founder. He has something in the wings going on. It'd probably be in Ohio.
That's not too far from me. Northwoods Cryptid was mentioning he was walking toward it earlier. Said it was about 8.5 feet tall, 4 feet across, and it took off in a blur. Yeah, you could have walked right into something. Yeah, its arms open wide. It's probably not a hug, or not one you want anyway.
Mm-mm. No, definitely not.
Dennis Chandler says the Spot X has worked from Texas to Alaska.
Wow.
Jonathan Miller says I'm selling bootleg Nick Valenti action figures for $4.99 out of the trunk of my car.
We're going for $4.99 now. Wow,
Woo-hoo, I want one.
gouging at $25.99. Down. These must be the replicas they're making over in another country.
Yeah, it's like one arm's like a Spider-Man costume arm, and it's just made with leftover parts.
That's not nice. Yeah, Charlie Perez, he makes them here in the United States.
I've got to get one of those. I may have to get the whole set just because I want them. Put them up on my shelf.
Well, when they finally come out,
I was a little hurt they didn't make one of me, but yeah, maybe one day.
Well, what they did was they made it of 6 cryptid people and 6 cryptids. So everybody's going to come with a cryptid. So,
Nice.
And mine actually comes with a Rottweiler also, a Rottie. So it'll be good.
Cool. I'm a little hurt that they didn't make one of me, but they probably didn't have enough plastic.
Mine would have just looked like a slightly melted Jabba the Hutt figure from Star Wars. With a hat.
You gave me an idea, though. I think I'll talk to Charlie tomorrow. I'll have you tied to the tree with barbecue like cloths going from you. And we'll have
There you go.
2 dogmen coming up on you with the saliva dropping because they, barbecue time. I'll take mine rare, the other ones.
And I'll be doing my best Polly. What was her name? Polly. Dudley Do Right and
Polly Purebred.
Oh,
That
was Underdog.
There's no need to fear. Underdog is here.
That was the first time my mother learned that I didn't know how to ask. We lived like 3 blocks from a supermarket, and there was one of those little candy machines in the front of the store. And I was about 3 or 4 years old, and they sold those little candy coated sweet tarts, and I called those Underdog pills. And I was out, and I had 4 pennies, and that's all it took to get a handful of them. And I walked down to the store and got some. When I got home, my mom realized I'd left the yard, and it was not pretty. But that was when she realized I always forget to ask. I don't do things wrong. I just forget to ask first. That's been my trouble all of my life. I forget to ask.
Better to ask permission.
No, it's better to ask forgiveness to beg forgiveness than to ask permission.
Yeah, that's right.
And I've spent most of my life begging forgiveness, believe me.
That's funny. It sounds like me. Like, yeah, I already done it. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Richie Evans says, I saw something while hunting in Florida swamp. It was not a black bear nor a man in an orange jacket. In December 2016, still have problems hunting. I hear that from a lot of hunters. There are guys that, there was one guy I talked to that wasn't too far from here, here in Missouri, and he fell asleep in his tree stand about 15 feet up, and he woke up to something shaking his foot. And I said, what happened? He goes, well, after I shit myself, I tried to get out of the tree stand and I fell. And I said, well, what happened then? He goes, well, I looked up, he was gone. I said, well, then what'd you do? And he goes, well, I left that damn tree stand there. I can tell you that. It's still out there. I never went back for it.
But if you need to find it, it's the tree with the skid mark all the way down.
I wonder if it was a skunk ape or a dogman out there. But then again, if it was shaking,
probably the skunk ape.
It probably was the skunk ape. I had interviewed personally when I was down in Florida a ranger from the Everglades area, and he himself has seen at least 3 different skunk apes out there. He is describing them with a dark brownish hair, and he also saw one with a I guess he described it as like a rusty reddish hair. out there, and the one he was describing was a little bit over 6 feet tall because it stood up and it was quite angry to see anybody around the area. He thinks it had a kill, and that's the reason why it was quite angry. He and his partner got out of there real quick, and when they went back and told some of the older guys that had worked the area for a couple dozen years or so, they told them just to stay out of that area, and that's not something you want to come upon, I'll tell you guys.
Mm-hmm. No. Again, terrified.
Well, when I was planning the trip to LBL, I got a couple messages from some people that are like, hey, if you're going to LBL, don't go at night. So what did I do? I went at night because I'm an idiot. But I got some great camera footage. Papa Bear says he puts barbecue sauce on her. She just might eat herself. Werewolf 5674 says the female hiker in Uncanny Valley started like that.
Mm-hmm.
Richie Evans says pooper bear, ha ha ha. Lexicon says I've only heard the chuff call twice in my life, both times baby near me with mom, and I had to walk quietly. I had walked too quietly. Okay. Lenita says in your story, did you know it was a Bigfoot outside?
When I was in my car? Is that the one that starts with in my car?
I think so.
Okay. That was years and years ago. We're talking decades ago. At the point that I got into my car, I had seen the silhouette, and I was pretty sure I knew what I was looking at. And I was absolutely terrified and panicked. And the fact that my husband did not respond to the car horn or my yelling until daylight was probably one of the longest nights of my life.
I would imagine.
It was horrifying.
I'm glad you're all right.
That was my one. It was actually kind of a two-part. The first time I ever had one tap on a house, I was living in a cabin on Mississippi River, and something hit the side of the house so hard that there was we were so poor we couldn't pay attention. Okay. I mean, we were
that
broke.
feeling.
And there was an old hide-a-bed sofa that didn't have legs, so we had it sitting up on 2 cement blocks. Otherwise, you couldn't get the bed back down in it during the day. And my friend and I were sitting on the floor in front of the fireplace playing gin rummy, and something hit the side of the house so hard it knocked that big, heavy hide-a-bed sofa off those blocks right over forward on its face. And then about 7 months later, I was fishing. My husband had left me fishing an awful pond. I don't even know why he bothered leaving me there. The only thing I was going to catch in that pond was dogfish, and who wants that? But he'd gone on down, walked way down, and left me and the kids there fishing. And I kept hearing something behind me and making noises. And I was getting a little bit more weirded out as the time went. And then over in the clearing to my left, I saw something step across it that it was right out of a nightmare. It was just a big silhouette. It felt like it was 10 feet tall, but it's probably only about 7 or 8 feet. But only.
Yeah, still.
And it went down into the pond I was fishing in. And I don't know, it splashed around in it is all I can say. And eventually it went out the other end. By the time I got out the other end, I had both my kids in the car, doors locked, and I was honking the horn for my husband.
I don't blame you a bit.
Yeah, he never came, not until daylight.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
My wife would have left my ass there.
Well, I would have left his ass there too, but apparently he took the keys with him because I couldn't find the keys. And
My wife has her own set.
That's something that I learned. Never, ever. Of course, my oldest son also knows not to let me have the keys because I'll drive off and leave him.
That was the standing joke when we were filming down at Joe Bald Campground. My wife was sitting in the van, and we were looking around, and Josh Jones goes, "How are we going to know if anybody sees something?" I said, "Well, if my wife sees it, we're going to know because we'll hear the van peeling out." Northwood Scripted says there are plenty of mom and pop places here to get a good meal. Mom and pop places are generally the best. You get off the beaten path. I don't like chain stores. I like the local mom and pop places. You just get the best food, and you hear the good stories.
Absolutely.
Richie says shepherd's pie is sheep, lamb, not beef. He's absolutely correct. If it's made with beef, it's a cottage pie. Mm-hmm. It's still good. I love a good cottage pie, but it's got to be mutton to be an authentic shepherd's pie. And my family's all Scots Irish, so I've had many a good shepherd's pie in my day, and I hope to have many more. It's always best with a good Guinness too. Oh! Now I want a Guinness. Damn it! I think I have one in the refrigerator. Ooh. Wonder if I could talk the wife into bringing it to me. Probably not.
Oh, I bet.
DA, I want to give a shout out to John Miller, because without John Miller, I would have never met you, never known you. He's
Really?
He's the one that brought my attention to all your books.
Well, that's awesome. Thanks, John.
Yeah, I mean, John Miller up there in, I believe, Maine. Great job.
Did you see the comment from Papa Bear?
Oh, Lord, what'd he say?
What do you say?
DA needs to come with a cane, a Dark Angel med kit, and a Scallywag blade. Hell yeah. And a Kolchak hat.
And a Kolchak hat, that's right.
Gotta have the Kolchak hat.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, mine needs to come with a pan of fried chicken.
Lenita says, when Cameron came over, I had KFC. I make my own sauce also. Reservoir Dog says, I have 3. Drive me nuts.
That's Rez. We can call him Rez, he says.
Okay. Rez, I have 3. I'm missing something. I'm not putting 2 and 2 together. I apologize. Craig says, Neoma Tartar.
Yeah.
See, it's catching up, Neoma.
Yeah. Can I bring my own ropes, at least?
Something comfortable.
Yeah.
Alyssa says, have you ever heard reference to the Ochra people? No, I'm afraid I haven't. Lindy says, Neoma, you're so funny. I'm laughing my butt off. Matt J says, I saw a Littlefoot and a half tall cryptid in Florida when I was a kid. What did it look like? Was it like a Bigfoot type creature or something similar? Might have been a juvenile skunk ape.
Yeah.
Yeah, Richie Evans says it was dirty snow color, not orange or brown or everything else. Cool. Richie says, Matt, did it look like us or ape? Rez says, I'm retired. I have way too much time on my hands, but I listened to a story today from an ex-Navy SEAL from 2019. It was about an operation in the Alleghenies to kill some Bigfoot eating people. I have heard that story from other sources. So I think I can confirm that story. Yeah, I think I know exactly what you're talking about. I've actually heard several stories about ex-special forces groups that were sent into specific areas to neutralize hostile cryptids that were preying on people.
Wow.
Well, at this point, Neoma, DA, I'm going to have to leave you folks. I got to get out to work and protect.
Well, Nick, we appreciate you being here tonight, sir. Thank you very much.
Maybe I can come on Saturday because I have a day off.
Oh, wow.
You're always welcome.
See what's happening, but I'll be talking to you all.
All right, you be safe, man.
It was good seeing you tonight.
Take care.
Bringing my own ropes.
That just sounds wrong. You coming to the party and bringing your own rope. What kind of party are you going to?
Wild one.
Apparently. Alyssa says, my mom had me track a red-haired Bigfoot when I was in my mid-teens. After I told her I could understand where it moved, she told me to gather my food in his territory for the summer. Family tradition. Well, that's really cool. Rez says they were eating people. Yeah. Matt J says at Richie Evans, it was covered in short tan brownish fur, no clothes. Rez says, I did save the link. Yeah, if you want to send that to me at daroberts@daroberts.net, I'd like to check that out because see if it is the one I'm thinking it is. Matt J, at my age, I thought the gingerbread man, only thing to compare it to. I can see that a kid's mind trying to associate it to something. Jonathan Miller says, love you guys. I'm sending you the link to Joe B. Ogwin's Dogman encounter in Nepal. It aired on Mike Tyson's podcast. Awesome. I will check that out. Thanks, dude. Rez says, sorry, 3 Roddies, big babies, LOL. Rez says, thanks, DA. Oh, that's what he was talking about. Mm-hmm. Thanks, DA. Asked him if there was a follow-up. Papa Bear says, good night, Nick, Godspeed. Alyssa says, some do this, why I don't walk in the woods and we'll walk in those places. Yeah, I would avoid them as well. Meg says goodnight, Nick. Rez says goodnight. Greg says, Doug, I'll IM you after the show. Okay, go ahead, man. And Richie says night, Nick. Sorry, I was trying to catch up, but I got way behind.
Yeah, I haven't been as helpful as I was supposed to be. I'm sorry.
You're doing fine.
That was supposed to be my job tonight.
Jobs. We don't need no stinking jobs.
My. Anyway, it has been a wonderful night, but I think I'm going to have to wind down myself.
Getting ready to get tired and want to go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna run off on me.
I hate to do that to you.
Well, you're fine. We're 2 hours in. Well, then I guess we'll go ahead and start wrapping up. It's much appreciated that you were here. You know, and you're always a hoot and a half and get me cracking up.
I
Some
try.
of the stuff you say just catches me off guard. Sometimes it just cracks me up.
It's how my mind works.
I think our senses of humor mesh very well.
I think so too.
We both find the weirdest crap funny.
That's like I said, weird is the magnet that draws us.
Meg says, Neoma 99, and Richie says, DA, the story you did was one of my favorites. By the way, you should do more with Cam. It's in the works. I'm definitely going to be doing more. Rez says, DM sending the link. Cuda 69 fastback. Ooh, good car. Nice car. Well, folks, we're just a little over the 2 hour mark, and we're going to start wrapping things up. I appreciate every one of you guys being here tonight with us. Make sure you join us Saturday night. We are going to go in depth on different types of Bigfoot. And again, this is just as I see it. Well, not necessarily me, how we see it. Taking nothing away from Matt Squatch Presents. He did a 10 types of Bigfoot. And some of them I just didn't think really were Bigfoot type creatures. But then I got to looking at some other things and thought they should have been in the list as well. So I've kind of changed and expanded the list, and we're looking at it. And we'll go into that in pretty big detail on Saturday night, and we appreciate you guys joining us. It's hot in here. Appreciate you guys again. If you haven't had a chance to swing by the Patreon, it's going across the bottom of the screen, the patreon.com/DA Roberts Author. Just posted a short story up on there for the Patreon for the patrons that's not available anywhere else. You guys could check that out. Going to be doing a lot of stuff with the Patreon community. Check out the Discord as well. And definitely get involved, because you can help shape the future of this. You can help decide, book ideas, show ideas, help choose covers for upcoming books. There's a lot going on, and I'm enjoying having everybody be a part of that.
And at the top level, you can even maybe get a character named after you.
That's a fact. Get a character named after you, or even and choose which book it goes in. So check those out. There's a lot of perks involved in those, and hopefully you guys will find something you like there. And just remember that all the Patreon goes to help us provide content and to help get the books out there even further. Got a few more comments. I'll cover those real quick before we sign off.
Okay.
Dennis Chandler says, what time is the show? It'll be same bat time, same bat channel. We'll be at 9 p.m. on Saturday night. On 9 p.m. Central, and we'll go till we're done flapping our gums. So it might be a long show. It might be 2-3 hours. Longest I've gone is 5.5. So who knows? Wow. That's kind of a marathon. We may not go quite that long, but it should be a good show. There'll be a lot going on. Oasis says Aunt Helen had problems with a ginger-colored one that liked to steal her dresses off the clothesline. Night all. Just seeing a Bigfoot in a sundress, that just cracks me up. Lenny says, I loved it. Y'all are so funny. Thank you very much. Oasis says that was back in the late 1800s. Bigfoot and gingham. That's an image. I feel pretty. Oh, so pretty.
Does this dress make me look fat?
Does dress make butt look big?
And to Bigfoot, you always say no.
It's very slimming.
You look very pretty.
A dress 19 sizes too small for you makes you look very slim.
Yeah,
like
not
like
at
me
all like a
wearing a toddler's
watermelon in a
jacket.
banana skin. Yeah, not at all like not at all like a watermelon in a banana skin. Not at
Ooh.
all.
Not at all. Oh my god. Oh,
I can't
Naomi, you
breathe.
kill me. I get so flustered I can't even stay with saying what I was trying to say.
I'm sorry.
You ain't gotta apologize. I love that. It's funny.
Oh shoot. Ooh, we work
When
well
people
off
laugh
of
so
each
much, my
other.
face hurts. I know my face hurts everybody else too, but it's hurting me right now.
Yeah, well, you did get your picture taken tonight.
Yeah, mine's already on there.
Yeah.
So hopefully Saturday you'll guys check out the new logo that'll have Naomi on
Yeah, hopefully not.
it.
I'm sure it broke the camera. We'll be good.
Oasis says no, he took them back home, and my grandmother and brother would have to give them back. Covered in hair, long hair. Greg says, now I'm hearing Adam Baldwin. I married myself a powerful, ugly creature. Firefly.
I can't imagine a conversation with a Bigfoot that involves give that back. I really can't. I mean,
he's slapping it on the hand. It's going. Ooh.
You die now.
How you look with tree up butt. Leave alone. Piss a Bigfoot off your. You're gonna look like an angel on the top of a cedar tree. See, now I got you. Fair share.
I can't breathe. Ooh, Lord have mercy, it's hot.
And them needles tend to chafe too.
Yeah, they do. Make it hard to pull it out. Okay.
Oh, got the vapors.
Me too. I just don't know what's come over me.
I do declare.
I got to come up with that woman's name that got tied to the railroad tracks.
Bell?
Apparently it's Neoma.
Well, it is now.
Yeah.
All right, folks. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up for the night. I appreciate you guys being here. It's always a hoot and a half. I love the comments in the chat room. You guys get us going, and we start cracking each other up. And sometimes we stay on topic, and sometimes we even actually manage to finish the show staying on topic. But tonight we kind of sidetracked a little bit, had some good laughs. But I appreciate you all being here, and thank you guys very much. Because without you, we wouldn't have anything. There'd be no show, no books, no nothing. Because you've got to have readers for a writer to exist. You can write 100,000 pages, and if nobody's reading it, then what there's just no one will ever know. I've said it many times, and I'll say it again. The books and books are a journey that we take together. And I'm really pleased that you guys have taken this journey with us. This is a hell of a good time. I'm having the time of my life doing these shows. And I got to meet some amazing people. I never would have gotten to know Neoma and Cam. And a lot of people I've met through the books. And it's taken a hillbilly from a farm north of Lebanon, Missouri, a lot farther than I ever thought it would. And I want to thank all of y'all for making that possible. You guys are the absolute best. I love you guys, and I cannot wait for Saturday night to crack up with Neoma again. She's going to be chuckling about the Christmas tree reference for a while.
All week long.
I wait till Christmas, and you go to put the tree up, and you get ready to put the tree topper on, and you just bust out. Like, you want tree up butt? Ha, 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 ha.
Hopefully by then they'll come out with the D.A. Roberts doll and I can use it as my angel.
Oh my God.
Oh, and you will get a picture.
That will be my profile picture forever. If they make an action figure of me and you put it on your Christmas tree.
Ooh.
Oh. God. Oh. Well, on that note, I'll bid you all a good night. And Neoma, it's always a hoot. I want to say thanks to Nick Valente for joining us tonight. And again, join us Saturday night for the Bigfoot countdown. And if you haven't had a chance to check out any of the books, check them out on my website at daroberts.net. They're all available in print and in Kindle editions, and a few of them are available in audio, and we're hoping to have more of them out soon. And I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Hope you guys are safe and everybody's happy, and I wish nothing but good things for all of you. And you guys have been a huge blessing in my life. Thank you guys very much. Neoma, you are awesome. You were the light of the show, the belle of the ball.
Aw.
Appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to do it Saturday night. It's going to be a hoot. Y'all
we'll
be
see
safe.
All you guys there Saturday too, right?
What's that?
I said we'll see all you guys there Saturday
hopefully,
too, right?
Hopefully so. Thank you guys for being here, and again, appreciate you guys so much. You can have a great night. Y'all be safe.
Thank you for joining us tonight on DA Ex Machina. Follow DA on social media and check out all of his work at daroberts.net. Good night, and don't forget to lock your doors.